Pete Hegseth has got to fucking go. But he's not gonna go. I saw Rachel Maddow saying, I think this is the end for Pete. I love Rachel Maddow, by the way. If you were to somehow ever see this video, Rachel Maddow, love you. No, this is not an attack toward you. But, just gotta say it. I saw her saying, I just don't, I don't see Pete Hegseth surviving this. He's gonna go. And it's like, are we really still in that psychological state? The more Pete Hegseth fucks up, the more valuable he is to Trump. He's not there to be competent. He's not there to be liked. He's not there to make Trump liked. He's there to be loyal. He's there to stop the military, although as they presume he will be able to do this, to stop the military from turning against Trump the more tyrannical and dictatorial Trump becomes. It's no different from how medieval families used to conduct themselves, right? It's like, the father is the king, or whatever the case might be, and one of the sons is in charge of the military. When one of your family members is in charge of the military, you don't have to worry about coups d'etats and usurpations and takeovers. Someone is in charge that's friendly to you, right? This is the entire purpose of Pete Hegseth being in charge. Now, Pete Hegseth recently got exposed like crazy by the Department of Defense, by the Pentagon. The report that we've received has said that Hegseth and Trump were well aware of the strikes, were up to date on the strikes, were viewing the strikes, and were responsible for the strikes. This is in contrast to what Pete Hegseth says and tries to blame the admiral for. Let's watch the clip.
Can you talk about the autonomy that's given to the commanders who are carrying out these operations, like Admiral Bradley, to make decisions? Like in this case, I'm assuming the first strike took out the boat and any actions that followed. Can you talk about the autonomy they're given?
Absolutely. So the secretary has been very clear in every statement that we've released about these strikes that they are presidentially directed. And the chain of command functions as it should. And we make sure that commanders on the ground their positions are taken into account, and they are able to tell us and make decisions if they see things that need to be flagged. But at the end of the day, the secretary and the president are the ones directing these strikes. And any follow-on strikes like those which were directed by Admiral Bradley, the secretary 100% agrees with.
So one of two things is happening here. Either this lady is simply a professional who's like, hey, here's how the chain of command works, and we're just letting you guys know, we're reminding you. And, despite what Trump and Hegseth would tell you, here's how the chain of command works. Now, everybody with realistic knowledge of the military knows this. That is how the chain of command works. That's exactly how it works. These guys, Trump and Hegseth, were aware of the strikes, and Pete Hegseth was aware of the second strike. Pete Hegseth was aware, ordered it, and agrees with it, okay? Now, it's important to understand and realize that Pete Hegseth's excuse for this is beyond, you cannot believe this shit. This nigga, the nigga who literally was texting classified information over Signal and compromised American national security and the safety of our troops. This is what this nigga says when asked about the second strikes on the boats. Pete Hegseth says, I watched that first strike live, as you can imagine. At the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do though. So I didn't stick around. A couple of hours later, I learned that the commander had made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. So Pete Hegseth is trying to dance around responsibility. I was there, but something came up though. Like I had to get up and do some other shit in the middle of observing a military operation of this magnitude. I was there, but 2 seconds later, I had to go do something because I'm kind of busy, The Secretary of War can be easily distracted by minuscule fuck shit and be drug out of the room while conducting and overseeing an important operation. This is like the goddamn Secretary of Defense working with Barack Obama to kill bin Laden and saying, I was in the room, but goddamn, a nigga came to me about some missing uniforms in SEAL Team 6, so I had to goddamn get up and go goddamn address that. And then when I came back, somebody shot Osama, and then what? This is the dog ate my homework kind of shit niggas is dealing with right now. This is a type of my cat ate my homework type of shit. I was in the room. I watched the first strike live, as you could imagine. But at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do, so I didn't really stick around. I came back, never actually. A couple of hours later, I just learned that the commander struck the second boat. Despite reports saying he ordered the second strike, he conveniently gets up in the middle of an operation, which is a horrible thing to do, and walks out of the room because someone disturbed him. You know how the military functions? If you come to the Secretary of War as he's overseeing the Secretary of War, unbelievable, as he's overseeing something of this magnitude, something he needs to personally oversee, do you know what he'll do? He'll tell you to get the fuck out. That's how it is in the military. You disrupt some shit with somebody that holds rank over you, they will tell you to get the fuck out of my face. Go away. Not right now. In fact, it's more than likely that the people in the Pentagon knew not to fucking disturb him. I'm overseeing an operation right now. If you need something, you can speak to someone who's junior ranked to me and tell them. You don't need to come to me directly. I'm overseeing an operation right now, which is normally how the chain of command is supposed to work. You don't bother someone of that level of rank with like monotonous, innocuous, miscellaneous fuckery in the middle of an operation like this, and he needs to personally oversee. Pete Hegseth doesn't really give a fuck about how this excuse is perceived, because that's the entire point. Incompetence, lack of regard or care for professionalism, all of this is important for Trump to conduct his dictatorial autocratic scheme. If the Secretary of Defense is competent and rational, it makes it harder for Trump to commit crimes and get away with it, because the military, if necessary, if Congress refuses to remove Trump, would then remove them themselves. They would then remove him themselves, right? Because Congress isn't going to remove Trump. As long as there's enough Republicans in Congress to stop the vote from going through, they will not remove him, it would then fall on the military to remove Trump, and you would hope remove Trump-friendly politicians in Congress to stop the takeover. However, that might not happen given the leadership at the head of the Department of Defense. Oh, my bad. The Department of War. Totally not childish at all. So Pete Hegseth's excuse or lie is, I wasn't in the room. I walked out for no damn reason. And he won't tell us why. He won't say, oh, Osama bin Laden came back from the dead. Hitler was spotted. Something serious that should concern the Secretary of War to this extent to get the fuck out of the middle of an operation and walk out of the room. I'm sorry, but if I'm overseeing this kind of operation, if you need my attention, shut the fuck up. It's not important. I'm conducting an operation right now. You don't need to talk to me at this moment. You can talk to me after this is done. There is no active war going on in America right now, other than the made up bullshit one that Trump is trying to convince us exists between him and nameless, faceless, random people on boats in the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela. Outside of that bullshit ass war, there's nothing going on so significant, so important that the Secretary of Defense can be disturbed in the midst of this operation. Pete Hegseth would have no reason to do so. All he would need to do is say, hey, I'm in an operation right now. You, as a junior, official underneath me, you fucking be the one to receive any and all information I fucking need, so I'm not being disturbed. This is normally how this works in chain of command, whether it's military or otherwise, right? The top guy isn't bothered with every little thing. And in certain situations, you don't bring anything to him at all. You don't say shit to him until after whatever's going on is done. But Pete Hegseth apparently was so distracted by whatever was going on, he didn't see the second strike, but he agrees with it. I didn't tell that nigga to do that, but if he did it, I'm not upset. I'm not mad, but I didn't say to do it, though. I wasn't there in the room. I had other stuff to do. What? The Secretary of War wasn't in the room during an operation because of a distraction? This nigga said, we got a lot of things to do. What? He says, as you can imagine, after I watched the first strike, the Department of War has a lot of things to do. I didn't stick around. I got up and left. Imagine you're a logical, rational parent in America with a child in the military. And not only has the Secretary of Defense, oh my bad, war. My bad, I'm sorry, war. Imagine you're the fucking parent. Imagine you're the fucking parent, right, of a person in the military. And the Secretary of War, my bad, not only texts classified information in a group chat that is not designated for classified information with a journalist in said group chat who, if with the wrong ideological intentions, could have gotten one of our troops killed. Not only did he do that, not only was he not fired after that, but he also gets up out of the room and leaves the room when someone in the chain of command needs orders in real time. Not only is he woefully underqualified for this job, with his only qualification being straight white male and maybe Christian and an alcoholic, not only are those his only qualifications, but in the middle of extreme operations, he gets up and leaves. Want to hear something crazier? The admiral he blamed, Frank Mitch Bradley. Do you want to know what operation? You want to know what unit carried out that operation? Naval Special Warfare Development Group. Do you want to know what that is the official name for? SEAL Team 6. Can't make this shit. So, get what? Of course, not every single person in, what they call it, Dev Group is a SEAL, but this is the unit overseeing this operation. The unit that also contains SEAL Team 6. This is the level of admiral he's overseeing. Imagine this being SEAL Team 6 members on the ground, and Pete Hegseth conveniently got up out of the room and left. Now, you and I both know he didn't leave. He ordered the second strike. But imagine if he were telling the truth. Either way, it's bad. He's ordering war crimes, and his excuse for the war crime is, I actually wasn't even in the room. I left in the midst of the operation. If he was telling the truth, imagine the significance of that. Imagine your husband, your son, your father, your brother, whatever, being in SEAL Team 6 on the ground in an op, and let's say Pete Hegseth has something important to do at the Department of War and gets up and leaves. Meanwhile, an admiral needs commands on what the next move is. Hey, we ran into this. You can't predict what will happen in an operation. Hey, Secretary of Defense, we need to do this. We need to do that. What's going on? What are your orders? Obviously, an admiral can decide what to do in most situations, right? But there are some situations where the Secretary of Defense does need to be accessible to give direction. We've all seen the Situation Room pictures of Obama in the Oval Office. Obama's not a serviceman. He never served in the military. He wouldn't know what to do in certain situations. Guess who's there to give him the proper guidance on what orders to give? Or who's there to just give orders in the first place? The fucking Secretary of Defense! But imagine Barack Hussein Obama is in the White House trying to conduct the Osama bin Laden raid, and the Secretary of Defense says, gotta go. We've got a lot of things to do here at the Department of War. Oops, Defense, sorry. That's like 10 years into the future. My bad, I'm sorry. What? Like, that's 15 years into the future. My bad. Whoops. Sorry there. But anyways, gotta go. This is the type of shit these niggas are saying. Imagine if this was a black Secretary of Defense saying, I had a lot of things to do here at the Department of War. Gotta go. Like, the N-words, the N-bomb, bro. The ninjas and all of the, boy, nigga, it would have been a different kind of Black Friday, okay? It would have been crazy. Now, because Pete Hegseth is straight white male and does whatever Trump tells him to, this will go straight under the rug. No one cares. I see people saying this is the end of Hegseth. Are you kidding me? This is the beginning. Somebody play Lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning of this nigga, bro, this is what Trump loves more than anything, is incompetence. The more incompetent a leader, the more in debt he is to Trump. I saved you when you had that signal chat. I saved you. You owe me. You know that. You gotta be loyal. You know how he is. You niggas know exactly what I'm talking about. When you got out of the room, remember that? You remember you got out of the room in the strike? I let you get away with that when you owe me. This is what Trump is. This is the most, bro, the more Hegseth Trump is, bro, when niggas say Trump is dumb, nigga, you are dumb. This nigga is 20 steps ahead. He knows if I become a dictator who the people begin to hate, which he will, do you know how important someone like Hegseth is? The more competent Hegseth is, the less of a reason he has to be indebted to Trump. The more Pete Hegseth fucks up, the more capital Trump has on him. I saved you when you did this. I saved you when you did that. I did these things for you. You better come through for me. The American people are mad at me, and I need you to direct the military to do whatever the fuck I tell you to direct them to do. Because at some point, Trump's not going to be leading off of public support. He's going to be leading off of tyranny. You never want to lose public supporters. I don't give a fuck what you are, a dictator, a president. You never want the public to fucking hate you. I'm not talking, Obama's a fucking loser, man. Fuck that guy. I mean, yo, we got to get rid of this nigga. Like, fuck what you saw happen to Obama when he was I'm talking like economy crashing kind of hatred. I'm talking bullshit foreign wars. I'm talking real hate born of an actual necessity to get rid of somebody from office. Real hatred born of actual economic and social mayhem. That kind of hate, you need someone to protect you from it. And what better than a Secretary of Defense who will either cede power completely to Trump or do whatever Trump says. And he will have to do so. Why? Because all of this capital that Trump is building on him. Trump is building capital like you've never seen before on this bitch ass nigga Pete Hegseth. It's the truth. As Pegseth, bitch Seth, whatever the fuck, as this bitch ass nigga is doing Signal group chats and goddamn getting up out of the room in the middle of operations, Pete Hegseth becomes all the more valuable of a chess piece to Trump, because the more dictatorial and autocratic he becomes, the more stooges he needs to survive. The more competent your leaders are, the more likely they are to turn on you when you fuck up enough. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, nigga, you gotta go. The Constitution says you gotta go. It's been cool fucking with you, though, you know what I'm saying? You a real nigga, well, until now, but, it's been real. See, that's what a normal, competent leader does, was that a normal, competent, bureaucrat does. But when you're Pete Hegseth, a drunk, lunatic, neo-Nazi piece of shit, you have to then concede your power to Trump. One, because that's what you were there for and what you agreed to do. But two, you owe him. You fucking owe him. Remember when I came through for you for that? You remember when I defended you for that? Pete Hegseth's not getting fired. Kash Patel's more likely to get fired than Hegseth, and he's fucked up less than Hegseth in reality. Well, actually not, because he's been covering up the Epstein files, so he's actually the worst one. But in terms of actual material fuck-ups, oh my god, he did that. Hegseth's on a roll right now. I mean, he's got to be a real fuck-up for real, which he is. And Trump was so smart for picking him. Alcoholic, abusive in his relationships, cheating everywhere, baby mama bro, this nigga, you could not ask for a better Secretary of Defense. He is a bumbling buffoon, someone who constantly fucks up, will commit crimes on Trump's behalf, and all he's doing is building up more and more capital for Trump to say, do what the fuck I tell you to. I don't care how scared you are. I don't care if you feel like you're losing support in America and that the entire nation has turned on us and we got to get out of this. I don't care if you want to preserve yourself. You see where I fucking came through for you? You better fucking come through for me. That is exactly what Trump will expect from Hegseth, and that is why Hegseth will never be fired. Ever, 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 okay? Never. I just hope conservative voting parents at home whose kids are in the military have a fucking wake-up call at some point. This guy is ordering people to commit war crimes, and then when it's exposed, throws them under the bus. Then, when realizing that looks really, really fucking bad, and it's not a repeatable thing he can do over and over and over again, he then claims he wasn't even in the fucking room to give the order in the first place. Are we fucking serious right now? You're not even overseeing operations carried out by the group in the Navy that includes SEAL Team 6, Naval Special Warfare Development Group. Are we fucking serious right now? You're not overseeing operations carried out by that unit. You get up out of the room and you walk out. Really? That's just as bad as you ordering them to commit war crimes. And you know that. You know that full and fucking well. But the MAGA base doesn't care. They don't care about troops being in danger. They just don't give a fuck. So, it is what it is. Pete Hegseth's not going anywhere, but he needs to be fucking fired. But we know he won't. We know he won't. And the reality is, When this is all said and done, he needs to go to fucking jail forever. He needs to go to prison for the rest of his fucking life. I'm tired of people just saying, Pete Hegseth is a rat. Bro, this nigga needs to go under the jail. He is ordering American troops to commit war crimes. Many of them are going to do it simply because they're told to, on reaction. Now, war crimes like this, of like, strike the boat again, it's easy for someone to fuck up like this. You know, still a crime, probably still going to get prosecuted, but I could see how someone could immediately do it and then realize, oh shit, what did I just do? But this is a guy who literally was asked, would you order the military to shoot protesters if Trump asked you to, and he wouldn't say no? So you can start to realize the kind of war crimes he's capable of ordering our troops to commit. Then, this is a guy who endangers our troops with bullshit group chats with journalists in them. Then this is a guy who, when caught ordering war crimes, then says, I actually wasn't in the room halfway through. This guy has to go to prison forever, along with everyone else aiding and abetting Trump. Like I said, he is in this position in order to embolden and strengthen Trump's criminality. He is there to protect Trump from the military, and he is there to utilize the military against us when Trump loses all political capital in the nation. When Trump supporters start saying, he went crazy, man, I don't know what happened to our Lord and Savior, but he's gone crazy. When they start making up excuses and reasons for why they can't support him anymore, bad news for Trump. Bad news for Trump. And you know what he's going to need more than ever? The military, because he's not ruling through a bullshit-ass mandate he claimed to have. He's not ruling through a fucking cult that makes up 30% of the population. Now he's ruling just by fucking tyranny alone. And that right there is an inevitability. And when it occurs, he will need Pete Hegseth. All of this is Trump building up capital on him to use him for what he needs him the fucking most. That's the reality. If Donald Trump Jr. could be the Secretary of Defense, Trump would have made him the Secretary of Defense. Oh, my bad, war. But he can't. It would be a little bit too scandalous. So he puts a guy in charge who's woefully underqualified, has a serious habit of fucking up, and as he fucks up, he builds more and more of a debt to Donald Trump. It's a deal with the devil, and Hegseth is too fucking stupid to realize it, and too evil. He's so caught up in what he agrees with and supports with Trump, he doesn't even realize you're setting yourself up for failure. Trump is 70-something years old going on 80. This nigga eventually will pass from natural causes. Where will you be when that day comes? Probably in fucking prison where you and everyone else involved in MAGA belongs. Marjorie Taylor Greene and many others are smart enough to realize that, and now they're rats flying off of a sinking ship. Flying. Not jumping, flying, soaring off of a sinking ship. That's the reality of it. MAGA is a ship off the coast of Venezuela with a Naval Special Warfare Development Group strike flying straight toward it, but simply in slow motion. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and everyone else can see it. Everybody with a political brain can see the strike coming. It's moving slowly, but it's still coming. She and everyone else jumping straight off the ship, they can see it. Pete Hegseth, dumbass, tightening his seatbelt, goddamn rated. Idiot. Absolute idiot. But the reality is, this Secretary of War and Department of War is going to get our troops killed. He almost came close to getting one of them killed, and he's ordering them to commit crimes. They're going to get people in our military locked the fuck up. They're going to get people in our military killed. And unfortunately, the most patriotic of Americans, the most pro-troop Americans are too prideful and too power hungry to see it. That's why a fucking American flag and "We love the troops" sign isn't enough for me. How will you behave when the integrity of our troops is put to the test by a lunatic? How are you going to behave when the safety of our troops is put to the test by the Secretary of War? How will you react then? Silence is how you will react. The flag means nothing to me. Your praise of the troops means nothing to me. I have seen what you will overlook. I have seen what you will support. You are a liar. You are a fraud, just like everyone else in the conservative movement. When it comes time to actually stand by the Constitution, whoops, you don't believe in it anymore. When it comes time to actually defend the troops, whoops, you don't care about them anymore. It is a lie. It is fraud. It is imagery. It is propaganda. It is seductive messaging. It is not real morals. It is not real ethics. It is not real policy. It's all a fucking lie. It's a mirage, all meant to empower you and Trump at the expense of the American people and the troops of this country. You all don't love our military, you don't care about it, and conservative white American power is more important to you than actual American lives. That's the reality of this situation. Fuck this nigga Pete Hegseth. He needs to go to fucking jail is where he needs to go. And the fact of the matter is, the Democratic Party right now is still too pussy to be willing to do it. That's why they all gotta go. Schumer, all of these pussy, bitch ass, hoe ass niggas, they gotta go. The left needs a total cleansing as a political party. It needs to be cleansed. It needs to be completely just picked out. Because the reality is right now, the left as a political party, as a political movement is still too fucking soft. Still too soft. You don't realize what this entire thing is. Hegseth is there so Trump can unleash brutality on the American people when it comes time. When he loses so much support, this is what Hegseth is there for. And there are people on the left who, when we finally get America back, are going to sit there and try to advocate for America to come together and move away, to move on from the past, to just get over it. The fuck out of here with that bullshit. The fuck out of here with that bullshit.